Welcome to Find Your Strong, the podcast that's here to help you free yourself from food rules, fitness guilt, and those weird detox teas.
Oh, do not get me started, Ella.
All right, I won't. I'm Ella, nutritionist and intuitive eating counselor.
And I'm Christine, personal trainer, intuitive eating counselor, and your hype woman for joyful movement.
You are, woohoo! Together we talk to experts, share stories, and hopefully leave you feeling a bit more at home in your body.
So if you're ready, let's find your strong. So Ella,
Hi.
how are you doing?
I'm all right.
You're a bit of a bah humbug, aren't you?
I'm a very much of a bah humbug. Yeah, before we came on online, I had a rant. Poor Christine had to hear me rant about Christmas and how much I hate it all. So I'm not gonna. I've let it all out. So anyone listening, don't worry, you're not going to be subjected to my bah humbugness.
Well, as we were saying, I think it's because you are from Germany, which a country that does Christmas right. They know how to do Christmas and the festive season. It's just we were saying, it's not plastic. It's all glühwein and cinnamon smells and waffles and Christmas markets and do you know what I mean? Whereas this
Yeah.
country is a bit plastic.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
bit
it's
like,
memories of childhood Christmases that were
yes.
just lovely. I think that sort of when you get an adult, it gets a little bit like meh.
I'm the opposite. I soak it up. So I'm here for all the Christmas movies, the Home Alone, even Die Hard. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I love it. I just think it's great. I don't know why, but it's something, and I like it if it's really cold. I
I
don't like
like that. No,
wet and
wet.
frigging warm.
Yeah. I know. A mild, like a 10 degrees Christmas day is just like, what the hell is happening?
I know. It's
Yeah.
not right.
We
But
used to have mountains of snow when I was growing up. Like
yeah,
literally.
we had snow in Northern Ireland, but
Oh.
we had snow in Brighton the first year we moved here with the kids. Never since.
Mm.
So
It was
it's
a little
just
teaser, wasn't it? It's like, oh, look, you moved to somewhere magical.
I know, I know, no. So it's very close to Christmas. If you're listening to this out of sync, it's nearly Christmas. It's the 4th of December.
Hmm.
And we were going to talk about Christmas, and we probably will at some point, but actually we want to talk about online debates about celebrity weight loss
Hmm.
and whether it is a double standard for us to be concerned about a cultural shift in weight when we're always saying, don't comment on anybody's body, don't comment on people's weight. And I think that's something that we need to kind of unpack and
Mm.
talk to. So
Hmm.
do you want to kick us off, Ella?
Oh God, no pressure then.
No
Yeah, I mean,
pressure.
there's quite a lot to be said about it. I mean, in general, I always say, just like you, don't make any comments on people's weight. And that is in the context of you see a friend you haven't seen for a while, they've lost some weight. You say, "Oh my God, you look great. Have you
I
lost
know.
weight?" That sort of thing, where really you don't know what's going on for them. They might be ill, they might be grieving, they might, have an eating disorder. There's all sorts of reasons why they might be thinner than they were before. Likewise, when you see someone who put on some weight, don't comment on that either. We always say those things. So I totally am in that camp and I'm not going to move away from that. However, with this recent trend of the very extreme thinness amongst celebrities in particular, I am incredibly concerned about what that is saying to everybody, but young people in particular. And it's mostly probably well, no, it's not just young people, but it's those role models that young people follow and worship and enjoy watching that are coming out to be extremely thin. And you just kind of have to look into what does that actually mean from a cultural point of view? Why are women in particular, it's generally not the male actors and celebrities, it is mostly the females. Why do
But
they
yeah,
feel that need to shrink themselves into almost not being there?
yeah.
What is going on culturally there that means that that is now the new beautiful? I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think male bodies are scrutinized too, but it seems to be definitely always about the female body, isn't it? The
Mm,
battleground, or we always come back to
mm,
the female body.
mm,
I think it's very dangerous for, having two teenage daughters.
mhm,
I think we have no idea how much the media influences them.
mhm,
You can't underestimate that.
mhm,
And if all they see is a barrage of extremely thin bodies that
mhm,
are celebrated in
mhm,
Hollywood, or all the shows they watch are just extremely thin bodies. That's
mhm.
all they're saying. That has a massive impact on what they think is normal, what they think they should be, what their bodies should look like, how their bodies are somehow wrong because it doesn't
Yeah,
look like. So I
yeah,
think it's very dangerous indeed.
yeah,
And
definitely.
it concerns me hugely. And I
Mhm,
also don't think it's any coincidence that the whole, conservatism and the Trump administration and the whole obedience, it feels that you're saying it's about disappearing ourselves, but it's also about obedience, conformity, isn't it?
mm,
It's like
mm,
we're shrinking. We've got discipline. We can shrink our bodies.
yeah,
It's a thing of privilege as well, but it feels that's what we're focused on. It's like, what is that? The
mhm.
dieting is the most potent political sedative, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally anti-feminist, isn't it?
It's
Dieting.
you're not taking up space, you're
Mhm,
shrinking yourself. And if
mhm,
you're actually spending all that time focused on shrinking your body, and if you're actually not having calories to sustain your brain, your body,
mhm,
you're going to feel like crap. All you're going to
mhm,
think about is your weight, your body,
mhm,
how it looks. You're not
mhm,
actually going to be focused on changing the world and
mhm,
standing up for human rights and
mhm,
campaigning because you don't have the energy.
mhm.
And I
Yeah.
know there's huge nuance here. Everybody's bodies are different. So some people have very high metabolisms and exist in small bodies
Mhm,
naturally.
mhm.
But there is a trend. We can all see it. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
It's
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 not,
very obvious, and
yeah.
it's very it's not like th they've always been that thin. They have not, and we have before and after photos in that sense, right? And it is definitely a shift. It is definitely a move towards this extreme reduced weight that and it is very, very concerning that it is being normalized, that it is being seen everywhere, you know.
It absolutely is. And we don't want to comment on individuals' bodies because we don't actually
Mm.
know what's going on with an individual.
No?
We don't know if they're ill, we have no idea what they're
Hmm.
going through
Hmm.
themselves. And as such, I think shying away from actually like commenting on that individual is really smart or is really
Hmm.
fair. I think
Hmm.
that's really fair.
Yeah.
But but it is not the same as us saying, please don't troll people in a larger body. And I think that's where
Hmm.
there's all this, oh, it's a double standard. And it's not a double standard. So if you see somebody in a larger body in terms of the BMI, which we all know is bullshit, we have no idea actually what their health is like.
Hmm.
And there's no reason that they cannot exist perfectly healthily in that larger body.
Hmm.
We're talking extremes here. And when we go to extreme ends of either spectrum, there is problems. There will
Hmm.
be problems. So we're talking extreme. And when we're looking at these incredibly, incredibly thin celebrities, there are issues there. They are much more likely to struggle with low blood pressure, with heart issues. They're much more likely to develop osteoporosis. And do you know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Yeah, it's got a
It's
definite health
dangerous.
impact. Yes, for sure.
So
Yeah.
they do say that anorexia has got the highest mortality of any mental illness.
Hmm.
And I know that anorexia can is not does not discriminate, and you can have anorexia in any body shape or type. It
Mm.
doesn't have to be a thin body, but it is by far the number one killer in terms of mental illness. So that cannot be taken lightly.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the danger is that those celebrities who are extremely thin, I mean, we assume, but we assume probably quite correctly that they are completely undernourished and underfed. And therefore, as you said, there's all these health repercussions, all these implications, all of these things that can affect your organs, your metabolism, your brain, your bones. All of those things are affected. Whereas someone in a larger body might be, we don't know. Whereas someone in a really, really, really thin, and we're talking extremes here, it's almost without a doubt being
Yes.
affected. Whereas someone in a larger body, we don't know. They might be,
Yeah.
as you said, they might be perfectly healthy, or they
And
might have
we're talking extremes because there's so much fat phobia out there that actually it's
yeah,
perfectly fine to exist in a larger body and be very
of course.
healthy, be very
Yeah,
active, do everything that you
yeah,
can live your absolute best life in
yeah,
a larger body because we are diverse. We're all different. Our set
absolutely.
points are different, etc. But we're talking extreme ends of the scale, aren't
That's it.
we?
Yeah,
And
we are.
what we're saying is the extreme thinness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what is really worrying because our kids are kind of thinking that's what they should aspire to, or that's what's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not like that,
Mm-hmm.
and if they already feel not quite that's something maybe they think they can control.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that they can, if they can't control other stuff, oh well, maybe I could just control my weight. And it's once you start on that trajectory, it's very hard to pull back.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah, I like the cultural angle that you just mentioned about the coincidence with a more conservative world in general, and how, I mean, we're not all fans of Naomi Wolf, but in her book, The Beauty Myth, which was written when? 70s, 80s, something
yeah,
like that. It's
80s, I think.
a long time ago.
Mm.
She already made that point that fluctuations in beauty standards and in that sense, body weight always coincided. They always came just that tiny fraction after a shift in society. And as you said, all this conservatism is on the rise in America in particular, but in lots of countries.
Yeah.
And isn't it curious that suddenly women are being put back in their place by actually being preoccupied with how thin can I get?
Yes.
It's just curious, isn't it? How that coincides.
And
Correlation isn't causation, but
it's almost
interesting.
like everybody's going, oh, so like Oprah is going, thank God for Ozempic. Thank God for Ozempic. Isn't it wonderful? And I just see it as Ozempic helps for many reasons. If you're diabetic, Ozempic is fantastic. There's many medical reasons that these GLP-1s are useful and beneficial for people,
Hmm.
but they're being used for people who are in normal straight-sized bodies to get to an extreme level of thinness. And that's where I maybe
Hmm.
have issue with.
Hmm.
But Oprah is like sort of saying, "Yay, we can all be thin now." What is that
Why?
saying? What is that saying to our future
Exactly.
generations?
Exactly.
Who gives a shit? I mean, Oprah has
Yeah.
done okay. She's done some dodgy stuff throughout her career, but she's done some amazing stuff. But when I think of Oprah, I think if she's always trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
She's been always trying to be, she's always been uncomfortable with herself.
Yeah.
And there's many reasons because, there's intersectionality of so many different things that she is targeted for and
Hmm.
she is discriminated against for. And I'm not judging her at all, but she is a role model to an entire population of people. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So people listen to Oprah. This is what I'm saying. People have huge influence in this
Hmm.
field.
Hmm.
And rather than saying take up space as you are,
Hmm.
just it's saying the opposite. It's saying, oh well, yay, now we can actually conform and be exactly the same as everybody else and our lives can be better. It's why?
Hmm.
Do you know
This
what I
is
mean?
it.
It
Yeah.
just
Yeah. The why is the interesting question, isn't it? Who are you doing this for?
it's but what does nobody want to go, fuck that, fuck the system. Let's just
There are some
actually
voices. There are some people out there, like
hmm.
some celebrities as well, but there's so few of them.
I
That
mean,
it's,
you've got the beautiful, the wonderful Emma
oh,
Thompson,
Emma Thompson, Kate
always
Winslet,
Kate
they are
Winslet.
fabulous.
Um,
But
Miriam Margolyes,
oh, bless her.
fantastic. I
Oh,
love her.
she's hilarious.
And you've got some people that are just taking up space and being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Celia Imrie.
Mm-hmm.
Just there's so many people, but that's a fraction, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. A
That's a
tiny,
fraction.
tiny, tiny minority of people who are flying the flag for, you know, diversity in terms of body size and shape. It's just really, it really scares me. It really scares me. As you said at the beginning, you've got two teenage daughters. I've got one. If that is the world they grow up in, what is that telling them? What are we
It
teaching our
tells them that the
daughters?
most important thing about themselves is
Uh-huh.
how much they weigh.
Exactly.
And it's not actually everything is pales in comparison.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it also feels bad sometimes when I'm talking about the celebrity culture in this way, because I'm bringing more attention to the fact that everybody is
Yeah.
shrinking themselves. But in a way, it's
But I think
necessary.
in this, I think we need to bring attention to it. And I think some people are very much like, oh, why you highlighting it and just let them be and all of that. I think we need to highlight this. We need to bring attention to it because it is a very dangerous trend. As you said earlier, it's not about just losing some weight. It is about extreme thinness that has so many red flags in terms of health
And
implications and also
the,
for people who want to emulate that. They can end up with an eating disorder. They can end up with organ failure if they try and
yes.
follow that. And this is the thing that I find really scary is that extreme thinness is is only achieved by means that are not going to be good for you, that are not going to be healthy. You cannot achieve that kind of thinness because that's just how your body is. I'm sorry, that is just not a thing. And I think that is where the danger comes in, right?
I think if you're not giving your body the minimum amount of calories that your
Mm.
organs need to thrive, survive, there's it's a non-point. You can't say it's fine. You can't say it's okay to
Not
eat
exactly.
1,200 calories. It is not okay to eat 1,200 calories. That
Yeah.
is a toddler's day. A 2-year-old, a 1-year-old probably.
Yeah.
You cannot survive. You can survive for a while. You cannot thrive.
No.
And you what I sort of say to my daughters now is if I want to go to do a workout, I want to make sure that I'm nourished so that I can work out hard and I can
Mm-hmm.
get the goal. I want to chuck a kettlebell in there. I want to feel nourished so that I can do that. I want to feel nourished so
Mm-hmm.
that my run feels okay and I don't
Mm-hmm.
faint halfway through or
Yeah.
not have any energy. I want to feel good when I'm working out. I want to feel like I've got energy when I'm doing the podcast, doing the classes,
Yeah.
trying. Why would you? This is why I'm saying, why are we
Mm.
not questioning this? Why are we not saying,
Yeah.
hold on, I don't need to be super skinny. Why do I need to be super skinny? It's a trend. But
Mm.
the teenagers who are sitting in their rooms, it's constant, in
Yep.
our day, it was certainly with the Special K generation and we had all of that. And it was
Mm-hmm.
certainly hammed down our throats constantly, but
Mm-hmm.
we did not have phones where social media, we were basically, it was IV drip constantly, constantly seeing a stream of
Yep.
these similar bodies constantly. And there is research to show that you want to be what you see most.
Mm-hmm.
So if you saw larger bodies or a diversity of bodies all the time, you would think that was normal. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're only seeing one type of body, this
Mm-hmm.
thin ideal, that's what you will aspire to, or that's what you'll measure against.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make
It
sense?
makes total sense. And I think even when we were growing up and there's sort of so-called heroin chic, which I hate that expression, but yeah, just for sort of context, I don't think even then it was this extreme. Would you agree?
No. Okay, it seemed to be away from us. That didn't seem to be as close. That seemed
Mm,
over there. That was for the models.
yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
models were heroin chic, but it wasn't the entire. It wasn't. It didn't seem as pervasive or as I don't know.
No, no. Yeah.
But what I mean, in terms of, have you ever been impacted by watching something or seeing something? Can you resonate with that, or does that not make sense to you?
In terms of this extreme kind
Yeah,
of,
I mean, throughout your life, have you ever thought, oh,
I,
you know,
I honestly can't say that I have. But then I've always been privileged in being in a straight size smaller body.
yeah,
So for me, the difference to get to whatever skinny model I was seeing, obviously I was never there, but the difference wasn't as sort of in your face, so to speak. Whereas I think nowadays and then it really highlights the difference. So a sort of straight-sized body compared to this extreme thinness, if you look at that, it's now seen as like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's massive.
Plus size.
And you
Yeah.
think it's highlighting this kind of, the difference even more. And I think that's not helpful for anyone flying the flag for body diversity for their possibly slightly larger body who have been working on finding peace in their body and being happy with their shape and size, having this thrown at them and in their face literally every time they open a newspaper or scroll down social media. That's not going to be helpful to all of the work that people have done on, finding peace in their body and learning to accept their body.
And, we always go back, we're both intuitive eating counselors, and it is that thing that I always I go back to if thoughts arise, is that you want to sort of listen to your body. And it's
Mm,
when you feel hungry, you don't want to push it down and suppress it because that's your body talking to you. And I think
mm,
the further you go down the road of suppressing hunger cues, the less in touch you are with them. So it takes quite
mm,
a while to
mm.
rebuild that body trust.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So you
yeah,
probably won't feel hungry
no,
at
no.
in the same way. So
And
it
also,
takes,
if you're on a weight loss drug, you probably don't hear any of those signals anyway, which
but
I would
it's,
imagine a lot of those celebrities are to kind of give them a little help, extra help.
but I think I kind of see, I see food and exercise being this. I want to make sure that I'm fueling my body enough so that I can feel okay. And I think
Mm.
my body will then take care of itself in terms of weight.
Hmm.
So, it doesn't mean we're not very much eating nutrient dense food. Doesn't mean that we're not taking care of our bodies. It absolutely means the opposite.
Mm.
We're really thinking about what our body needs.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And
Mm.
I don't know, it's this idea of letting your body take care of it. So being
Mm.
kind to your body and letting it do the rest. So
Yeah,
trusting it to kind of do the rest. So
yeah,
eating nutritious food, feeding the body what it needs, moving it
yeah,
in a way that feels good, and letting
yeah,
it take care of the rest.
yeah. And that could
That's,
be slightly larger, slightly smaller, whatever it is, but not at that extreme end.
but this is what's hard because if you do let your body take care of it and you don't like how it takes care of it, because we're living in this dieting culture,
Mm.
I think that's when it's very hard to stay in that distress or
Yeah.
that discomfort, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean when I said earlier it highlights that you do all this work on accepting your body and trusting it that it does what it needs and what it needs to do, and we do for it what it needs us to do. And then you have that as a counter image in your face. It is very hard, definitely.
And I struggle sometimes to watch TV shows that are just
Mm.
full of, I can't watch the Kardashians. Let's just no shade to them,
Never watched that
but
ever. Can't do it.
no, I can't do. I just can't because
Yeah.
it's just too. So I like to watch shows where there are people who are real,
Yeah.
like and I showed my daughter a show the other day. So I've banged on about Somebody Somewhere,
Hmm.
which Jeff Hiller won the Emmy this year, and it is
I
the
love
most
that one.
beautiful show, and it's
Yeah.
just wonderful. And my daughter watched it and was like, "Oh, it's really boring," and it's like I've never seen acting like that. It's just like real, it's
Mm.
not interested at all because and it is shot in a very real,
Yeah.
like you could be living there. They could be your friends. They could
Yeah.
be, and that's what I loved about it because it was so
Yeah.
authentic and it was like
Yeah.
people, not skinny people, nothing about skinny, not people who were kind of trying to conform to a certain extreme or had to, they were just people who were friends, who were incredibly talented people
Mm.
and actors and actresses. And
Yeah, it's about their lives, not about their looks, right? It was about the day-to-day life, and it wasn't about how thin or big they were.
but you could see beauty in all of them, and
100%. Yeah.
that's that's the thing that we're losing here
Yeah.
because there's not just one type of beauty.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
think that's where we're getting our blinkers
Hmm.
on, that there is not just one type of beauty. There is
Hmm.
so many. People are beautiful because of who they are, and And
Mm,
all different types of people can be beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
mm. Yeah, but we're not being told that by if you just watch any kind of I mean, interesting what your daughter said about it. That's just like real.
I
It
know.
just highlights the fact that we're being fed fake from morning to night. We're being
Yeah.
literally fed fake shit. I mean, do we want that? Are we not going to wake up to that and think, actually, this is all a massive lie? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
I
know
don't
where
know
this
what.
is going to go.
I just feel very strongly that we need to speak out, Ella, and keep
Mm-hmm.
speaking out and keep
Absolutely.
talking about it, even if not everybody agrees, because I do
Mm.
think it's incredibly damaging. And we got to think about our next generation of people coming up thinking
Mm-hmm.
that's the only way that I'll be accepted, if that's when it is nothing to do with that and it's the
Mm-hmm.
least important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. We've gone a bit skew with. It just feels like we need to bring it back. I don't know. And you kind of were saying it's an outcry. Everybody's like, but I don't think it is a national outcry. I think it's a people in the non-diet space outcry.
Yeah, in our bubble, everyone is up in arms about it. I think everyone else is kind of proceeding with caution and looking into where can I get Ozempic.
But do you think it will peter out? So as it's a trend, do you think it'll come and go?
It probably will eventually, but I don't know. We might have a nuclear war before that happens. I have no idea. I feel like this is it just keeps coming back with a vengeance, and every time it comes back, it's harsher.
Mm,
If you look at the trends over the years, you know, you had the 70s where or the 60s where we had Twiggy, and then we had the 2000s with the heroin chic. Now it's 2025 and it's literally, I mean, you cannot lose any more weight.
yeah,
Where's this gonna see it seems like it seems to spike and then kind of come down and spike more and spike more. I don't know where this is going to end.
I
Maybe we
know.
need to just eradicate women and then the men have got the use of the planet and they can nuke each other. Sorry.
I think there's a quote that I'm going to put in the show notes from a Loke, who's
Yeah.
incredible, and they were talking about the act of disappearing
Yeah.
ourselves to please other people,
Yeah.
and
Well, there you go.
it just feels like that's what we're doing,
Absolutely.
and I think it's time to kind of go, no, we're here, let's
Yeah.
accept us or F
Yeah.
off. That's kind of,
Yeah.
and it's trying to get a bit of that grit back. It's trying to get a bit of that. No, 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 I'm not going to apologize for.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I think that it can help to have a bit of community around you, can't it? To kind of bolster
Definitely.
you with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do we have any kind of positives to end on for our lovely
Oh
listeners?
God. I mean, there's always a positive, isn't there? But I just think anyone listening to this, I would just say, if you know, think about who you're doing this for. Think about who you're trying to shrink yourself for. And if
Yeah,
the answer is for myself, think again because that is not the right answer. That's not why you're doing it.
because yourself doesn't care. Yourself
Yourself, no,
doesn't.
no,
No.
no. It's not you, and it's never you. So it's always you not doing it for you.
And also, you know what? I've there's a cracking person to follow if you've got teen girls or boys or people, teens, just say teens. Spencer Barboza, she's an influencer, but she's not in a super skinny body and she's in a straight size
Hmm.
normal body, but she sort of talks about the pressures that are on her and that
Mm,
she refuses to stop eating and so she's always showing herself eating big burgers and she's
mm,
very comfortable in the body that she's in.
mm,
And but she shows pictures of like she did a post the other day saying, "Oh, I need to eat less, or I shouldn't have that ice cream." And then it showed the next slide was her when she was 2 or 3 going with an ice cream and it's saying you shouldn't have that ice cream. And then the next one was like, I look fat in a bikini. And the next one was a little 2-year-old in a bikini going, you look fat in the bikini. Do you know what I mean? It really hit at home because it's
mm. Where does it come from, right?
if you looked at yourself as a child, you would never treat that child the way you're treating yourself.
No.
And that child does not deserve to be treated that way. And that's still
Mm,
you. That is,
yeah.
that's sometimes, I know that's a kind of extreme thing, but I think that can bring it home sometimes that our bodies are crying out just to be fed and to be loved and to be
Hmm.
nourished.
Mm.
And we're kind of just, you know,
Ignoring them
ignoring
and
them
punishing them. But it just
and
highlights the question, who are you doing this for? Because if you're a 2-year-old and you're being told that and then you internalize that, of course you're going to struggle when you're an adult, right? It's just internalized, anti-fat bias that you've grown up with. So, there's no judgment on our part for anybody who is in that mindset or who
no,
thinks that, oh, I want to lose weight. But that's where the question comes in. Who are you doing this for?
yeah. And how would your life be better? Because
Mm,
any time that I've gone to that when I've thought I want to be this and I've got there to my goal weight or to what I
mm,
thought I should be, I've
mm,
always been the most miserable because I had no
mm-hmm,
energy, I had no strength,
mm-hmm.
I was cold all the time. I was so
No,
it doesn't bring you the happiness that you maybe think it's gonna.
no,
Confidence is not waiting for you there.
no.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
I think we'll end on that. But our lovely listeners, I think, as Ella said, the question to ask is who are you doing it for?
Mm.
And join us in trying to be unapologetic and just being ourselves and taking up space.
Yes,
Easy to say, obviously, in straight sized bodies
of
with
course.
thin privilege. But it's something that needs to be said. So please let us know your comments and how you feel about this epidemic at the minute. And thank you for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. And sorry about Ella's anti-Christmas vibes.
Don't be sorry about it, and I'm not sorry about it. If anyone wants to talk to me about bar humbugness, I'm all for it. So just get in touch and we
All
can bar
right.
humbug together.
All right. Okay then, Ella.
Bye.
See you next week.